I have roasted hundreds of airsoft kits that were submitted by you, the viewers, over on the BB Warrior Discord server. So I thought it'd be fun today to take a look back and see some of the best roasts that we've had so far. Quite the meme loadout here. I can't tell if he's messing with me or if he actually brings us out onto the airsoft field. This is awful. What a way to start off the video. 5 out of 10. I hope this is a meme. And I think you need to drink some water, King. The creator's coming in hot with several loadouts. So first off, PLA Universal 07. You know, this is what we need. Like, we've had tons of Rust 4 baddies. I want to see the Chinese baddies as well. Like, let's have some other kits out there in the world. And that is just, with the real sword rifle as well, this is hot. Like, I have no idea what any of this stuff is, but these loadouts are awesome. Like, this is more of what I would love to see in airsoft. These just look super cool. And then he's got even more. Then he's got the old school 70s Japanese kit. And this is awesome. I love period stuff in airsoft, going back to the retro stuff. And so many people just do retro Atlas kit, whatever it may be, Granada. This is awesome. And I think the best part about it is that it uses cool, unique airsoft guns that you really just don't see anywhere else. The background for all these photos is just super cool. And then finally, we've got a 2000s kit as well. Like, this is incredible. Honestly, these all look so good. I'm not quite sure what this one is with the jigsaw camo and the scar, but like, I'm blown away in all honesty. This is, this for sure wins the video. And it just keeps going. He submitted even more pictures. But as I look at this, like, it's just so much to take in. And my man won. This is the 10 out of 10. He wins the video for best kit. Sorry, everybody, but this looks awesome. I have to give it to him. All these old school impressions, assuming they're all correct, did a great job. You should be super proud of these loadouts. Again, just another username I'm not going to pronounce. And this is super cool because it's something that you don't see super often, and this is old school SAS kit. Maybe because the times have changed a lot in the last 30 years and gear is just significantly better, but like, it's an iconic look of like all black with the MP5 and a gas mask. This is sick. I wonder if the gas mask is rated for airsoft, because wearing gas masks in general just sucks, let alone wearing one that you couldn't use in game. But especially like, you know, just looking at all this old school kit, this is incredible. He's even got the flashlight handguard for the MP5, which if you've ever tried looking for one, they're kind of difficult to find for some reason. Like, nobody really makes them anymore. I know you can find the classic armies occasionally, but I absolutely love this. I think that it's hilarious. And he's also got the MP5K as well. So I think that this is absolutely sick. I don't know a ton about old school SAS kit, so I don't know if this is just like inspired or if this is the real stuff that's used, but I absolutely love this. This is incredible. Now this is something I can get behind. Look at this improvement. This is what we want to see. We want to see Kings prospering. We want to see that evolution over time, that character building. This is amazing. I love seeing the old school Cyclone rig to whatever he has now, the all multicam going for that kind of Special Forces CAG looking vibe. Like, this is the improvement that we want to see. I love that he blurred his face out on one side, but not the other, but we love to see this improvement in kits. This is what it's all about. So I have an awful confession to make. I've never played Half-Life. I think I said that in one of the other Roast My Kit videos when we got this submission, but I do think the rifle is just so goofy, and again, maybe it's because I've never played it, but this is from Half-Life. It's got the MP5 with the M203 on there, which I just think is a hilarious look. But overall, I think it's pretty cool, and it definitely screams like early 2000s video game, like before everybody got on like the super modern, like after like 2009 or 2010 when like the original Modern Warfare 2 and Warfighter came out, Medal of Honor. This is what most video game bad guys kind of looked like back in the day, but I definitely think it's awesome, and I love to see more video game inspired kits. So this is definitely a great 10 out of 10 for sure. It begs a question though, when you go to the airsoft field, how many people know what this is? If you're watching the video, please leave a comment down below because I'm curious. Got one from Stickums, and what I like about this is it's a militia kit that's simple, and it probably did not cost that much money. Like just grabbing a satchel, which is super underrated on the militia team, I feel, like having that with you to be able to carry just a couple of things and not need to have a gigantic chest rig. There's definitely something to say for that. But just Chi-Com, a basic jacket, basic pants, and your gun, and you're ready to go. I love simple militia kits like these. Like they definitely give off the vibe of like, I just had to go grab my gun and go join the fight. And I think that this is definitely a great representation of that. I will also give points because I'm a huge Hill People Gear fanboy, and I love your ruck, especially in a 91 as well. This is like the kit was cool alone, but I love the backpack as well. So this is definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. So again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get better at pronouncing Discord names, I promise. Has their kit, and I think that we need to focus on what they've got in their house. So just taking a look, I appreciate that you work out, and I was gonna sit here and make a bunch of jokes about the stuff in the background because of your caption. We need to talk about the knee pads. My guy, I want you to Google cry precision pants. Something screwy here. I don't want to say what it is. I want you to Google it and figure it out on your own. Maybe this is a joke loadout, but as we look at the rest of it, I am unfortunately left with more questions than answers. First and foremost, I see the shotgun shells, but as we look at other pictures, it's a vector. I don't see a shotgun anywhere. I don't think I even see vector mags on here, like on the kit itself. This one's just, it's an oddball. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this dump pouch. I'm a fan of putting the dump pouch in the front of my kit. I'm going to do a video on it soon because it's becoming a more popular trend. But with that dump pouch in particular, the cheapo trifold one, that's going to hurt you. That is going to flop, and if that's a gas vector with the heavy mags, you're going to have a bad time. So I would consider putting that like on your cummerbund or something, or getting something that actually mounts like with Velcro underneath the front flap of your plate carrier. Sword makes them. You can buy them in America from OP Tactical. I think Warrior Assault System makes something similar. Or just get a dump pouch that's made out of something lighter, like the HSGI Magnet is also pretty comfortable to have in the front. But this is, I think you got a little bit of work to do, but you could have something good for an indoor field here. Oh my God, is that E-House from Gun Gamers? And if you ever see that man in real life, say that exact thing to him. He loves hearing it. This is a drippy loadout. Like this was his Desert Fox events loadout. And the modified Chi-Com from Apple Fritter Customs with the Russian uniform top, it's a look. And like, look at that sexy man. Look at that man, look at that face paint on there. Like this, 10 out of 10 kit. Definitely cool kit, cool dude with a cool channel that you should check out if you haven't already. But chances are, if you watch my videos, you probably watch his as well. But definitely a cool loadout, cool guy as well. So my man here says that he needs to change out his knee pads, but I think that's not the thing that needs to change about this loadout. So like first and foremost, I noticed that it's a bison. You don't really see those in airsoft. That's pretty cool. But what is going on with those shoulder straps, my guy? Like that has to be uncomfortable. You're saying that the knee pads are cutting into you. How is that not cutting into your neck? Like I wish that there was a picture of the back because I wanted to see what the harness looked like, but like, dude, that has to be uncomfortable. I've never seen a PP19 rig before, so maybe it's just kind of weird and an H harness like that, but traditionally you want them to be like straight up over your shoulders and then cross over your back. But I'm gonna give it a nice 7 out of 10. I'm just, a lot of questions. If that's ATAX, maybe an 8 out of 10 right there, but I appreciate you having kind of a weird rifle, but I'm just, man, the choice in chest rig just perplexes me. Young Haichu has submitted a couple of loadouts so far, but they're always super unique. So this one is with the old school Heat vest, it looks like, which is from the movie Heat if you're unfamiliar. Hopefully it's not the Forgotten Weapons one, because as much as I love Ian's channel, the Forgotten Weapons vests were just comically large and very bad. So hopefully he got some of the other ones that came out as well. But just looking at it, like this begs the question, what game do you bring these to? Like, what game are you wearing your blazer to the airsoft field, and what advantage does it give you? If this is more of a LARP game, awesome. I can see this being cool for insurgency, but as soon as somebody notices that you have the Heat vest on, one, they're probably going to compliment you because it's super cool, but two, they're going to know that you're probably a Chaos Gremlin. I can't really tell what the rifle is. If you wanted to be correct to the movie, it'd be an old school carry handle M4, but that looks like some sort of Mark 18 on there. So this is a tough one. I want to say that it's cool because I like the heat vest. I just want to know, like, where do you bring this to play airsoft? Do you go into the local indoor field with this, or is this for a very specialty event? If you're watching the video, please leave a comment down below. Monolith Media has his Stalker kit, which I just gotta say, this looks incredible. I feel like post-apocalyptic kits can go two ways. They can either look hard, like this one, or it's like I put on my civilian clothes and walked around in the woods. And this is just, I mean, first off, the photography is amazing on these, but this is awesome. He's got Flectarn with a smirch over it, and like, oh, and the Defender, or whatever plate carrier that is underneath. These pictures just go super hard, and I wish that there were more games that supported this sort of thing. I think the issue is when you look at like post-apocalyptic games, they're often more LARPy, which isn't a problem, but there's never like a good force-on-force set in the post-apocalypse. But this goes super hard. He's also got the King Arms GP30 on that AK, which those are super hard to find, so that's a flex in and of itself. I absolutely love this. This is incredible, to say the least. Like, I absolutely love this style of kit. I just wish that we saw more of it in airsoft and more games that allowed people to wear it. God, the old school webbing over the chocolate chip with the G3, like, this is immaculate. And, you know, like, seriously, everybody else is gonna have to step their game up. This just looks fantastic. We're gonna have to give this a easy 10 out of 10 right here. I love the opportunity to kind of dress up and explore more of the fun side of airsoft. Everything doesn't need to be serious all the time. And, you know, I gotta say, you know, I want to know what you're bringing this to, or if this is you just having fun in your backyard for the 4th of July or something. But I love the old school M16. The one Tigress mask as well blends in. We're gonna give this a patriotic out of 10 because this is just real funny and I love to see stuff like this. All right, we got a real interesting one from Ghoul here. It's a Jag Arms Frankenstein shotgun with a Lancer optic and a Temu flashlight, which, like, I'm gonna be real, I feel like you can get away with cheap optics. Cheap flashlights is where I get concerned. Ever since Olight started catching on fire, I'm a big advocate of spending a little bit more, and the fact that it's from Temu makes it almost even worse in my eyes. But this is just like a cool indoor loadout. I love the floral on it and everything. And like, I get that this isn't everybody's vibe. But sometimes it's just kind of fun to go out and be goofy. Kind of like the first one we talked about, the Revolutionary War kit. I just think that this is really cool. I think that you can do a lot of cool stuff with those Jag scatter guns as well. It takes a little bit to get them reliable, but there's a huge aftermarket sort of community for them. So I think they're super neat. I might get my hands on one eventually. And like I said, I get this isn't going to be everybody's vibe, but I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And he's got the M4 mag adapter as well, which, like, from a realism perspective, I cannot stand. But from an airsoft perspective, which is what really matters, I think they're super helpful, they're useful, and they're way more effective than just using the 30-round shells. So overall, pretty cool, even though I get that it's not everybody's cup of tea. So we've been doing some old school kits. Now we're going really old school with the Average Cider Drinker's World War II Royal Artillery kit. And, you know, I gotta say, kind of like a lot of these historical kits, I'm not super well versed in them. So if this is FARB, tell me in the comments. I just think it's neat. I've said that a lot today. But, you know, I love a good, like, if you're gonna commit to the bit, and one, he's got the bayonet on there, which please don't bring that to an airsoft game. But, you know, this just looks neat. I don't know what type of game you'd use it at. You'd stick out like a sore thumb for sure at most of them, but I just think that everything with the Enfield as well, this is a super cool kit, and I gotta give you props for putting all this together. Now this is something that I can get behind, and this is kind of what I want my future kit to load out. This comes from one of our moderators on the server, and these old school, I shouldn't even say that, these new school FSB kits with the leafy top on them, just chef's kiss. Wearing these leafy suits makes you invisible, but they're not as heavy and cumbersome as a ghillie suit. I am honestly in love with this kit. That's what I want my GHK to look like when it's finally converted over. This is just an easy 10 out of 10. I think this looks fantastic, and this is the vibe that I want for one of my future kits. This is something. I don't even know what to say. I hope that this is a joke. If you actually play airsoft like this, this is callsign Wizard, who also has his own channel, but if you play like this, like, I have so many questions. Like, I'm left with more questions than answers. Does the sword get in the way? Does it hit your legs? Have you actually killed somebody with it? Like, this is an interesting loadout. And what is that? What is that rifle? No. No, 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 no. That is a KJW KC-02, which, if you're unfamiliar, is their replica of the Ruger 1022. This is a kit, all right. I don't know what to say about it. I just want to know if you've actually, like, ever gotten somebody with that sword. Like, that's all I want to know right now. And he, you know, that is something. So, like, I don't even know how to rank that. Like, I'm just, you got me. Like, I am flustered right now for sure. Sometimes the simplest stuff is what goes the hardest. I am a huge fan of DPM, but for whatever reason, I just haven't committed to buying a set for myself. Maybe because I already have so much stuff in M81. This just goes hard. Like, it's super simple, goes extremely hard, and I absolutely love this. I don't even, like, there's not even enough on the kit to say anything about it. It's just cool. So 10 out of 10. I wish I could say more about it, but honestly, I just need to find myself some DPM, like some Russian DPM. Like, I could always buy like stuff from the UK, but like for the type of kits that I do, I'd want something that's correct for these kits. This just goes unbelievably hard for how simple it is. So I just knew doing this video that we were going to see ghost masked, but this one is different. It doesn't look like the one in the game. It looks like if there was like a Chad version of it, I guess you could say, but like I have to know, are these comfortable to play with? Like, one of these photos, he doesn't have eye protection. But in the other ones, it kind of looks like he does, or it's edited, or maybe it's mesh or something like that, and that's not cool. But like, wearing these to games has to be uncomfortable. Like, I don't see, like, yes, it provides protection to your face and your nose, but that can't be comfortable to wear in airsoft. It's gotta get hot. Like, every time I see somebody bring one to the airsoft field, I'm like, what are you doing? It just makes zero sense to me. But otherwise, like, taking a look at the loadout, that's what, one of those classic Army X9 pistol caliber carbines. You know, I hate to say it, my man, this is a pretty basic generic loadout. I can't really see the chest rig to give you an idea, but like, I just have to know why people are like, ah, yes, I need to wear this ghost mask when I play airsoft. So I can't quite tell what this looks like. Part of this looks like you really enjoy going to a flat range and speeding up your clips on Instagram to show how fast your trigger pull is. But the other part of me can't hate it at all. You know, I do love the Comtac with a baseball hat look. I do think it is really drippy. Another bathroom picture. I'm surprised we didn't get more of those in this video. But I definitely think that the kit looks better with the combat shirt, and showing the rifle as well. Definitely a cool loadout. We're gonna give that an 8 out of 10. Karsten is showing us his Naval Special Warfare Development Group kit. And I gotta say, you know, I'm looking at this and it's cool, don't get me wrong, but if you've been following the channel for a very long time, you know that I started the BB Warrior to show off my Naval Special Warfare Development Group kit. And I was back when the popular stuff for that was AOR1, you know, AOR2 was kind of cool, but like Bin Laden raid time. And seeing it now, and I understand that, you know, in the last almost 15 years, of course, they've changed kits, they've changed camos, things like that, but man, seeing SEAL kit that isn't like no easy day, it kind of breaks my heart. But jokes aside, I think these are super cool kits. I do think, you know, we'll show the layout as a better example. There's a lot of stuff you still see. Like ops cores are still super common, cries are still super common, but seeing that a lot of stuff hasn't changed, like they're using JPCs, they've got the Noveski, I believe, rifle is what you're seeing nowadays. I'm admittedly kind of out of the loop for the impression. You know, the rifles are cool, don't get me wrong, but like, man, I miss the days of Naval Special Warfare kit being, you know, AOR1. Like, that was the cool thing for me when I was like seriously getting into airsoft and like getting into impressions. And, you know, in a way, like seeing the Torse patched on to a new era is cool, but like, you know, it always just like blows my mind. Like, there's this meme I saw the other day. It's like what you think a 15-year-old M4 is versus what a 15-year-old M4 actually is. And it's like, wow, I'm an old person now. And seeing kits like this definitely to show how old and how long I've been playing airsoft have been.
Future's now, old man.
CK16 has a really cool OP4 DMR loadout, which is something that I feel like you don't see very often. If people are building out a DMR, they're usually going to be doing it with like an SR25, they're going to try to make their M4 look like it, maybe an M14 here every once in a while. But he's got an SVD, which I got to give him props for, because the SVDs can kind of be a pain to work on. So just taking a look at this, it looks like it's a lot of stuff that you'd get from a place like Gray Shop. Like, let's be honest, I wouldn't exactly call this like an accurate kit, but I do think it kind of has that like Russian flavoring and looks really cool. I got to give him props, especially for getting an SVD to be working on there. But yeah, it looks like he's got a little bit of a chest rig, a butt pack on there. The only thing that I would say is it looks like I would get some sort of concealment on your back. Like, it's just all exposed. You know, it probably helps out in the summertime. But if you got the thing that goes over, you know, your shoulders and your head, get a field top instead of a combat shirt. I think it'll help you blend in a little bit more. But regardless, this is pretty neat in my opinion. I love, again, seeing OP4 DMR kits, because I feel like we only see like American flavored kits, you know, the occasional European one on there. And he says that he has a double pistol pouch, but what? I can't tell what pistol that is. It's probably a Glock, statistically speaking. But overall, this is pretty cool, man. I got to admit, I do like this. I think you guys are just creating Discord names that cannot be pronounced. Like, that is not a word. But taking a look at the kit, you know, you don't see multicam black very often anymore. Like, it was definitely popular 5-7 years ago, but to still see people rocking it, I think it can look good in certain situations. And taking a look at the kit, the main thing that I'll say is you need some variety. Like, everything is multicam black. I think it looks the best when it's like an accent, or like, I love Ranger Green over multicam black. I just think it looks super cool, kind of gives off that like private military kind of look, like Shadow Company from the original Modern Warfare 2. I know that they were wearing just like straight black, but like if you modernize that, that's what I would want to see. Otherwise, I gotta say it, just because I've run similar face mask setups in the past, you're gonna get shot in the nose. Like, everything is covered except for this, so that's gonna be the only place that you get shot in the head. And then I do want to acknowledge, you know, a little bit of day noodling going on, which I find hilarious. I can't quite tell if those are real or not, but either way, like, make sure that you have some sort of pouch to put those on during the day. I get this is probably just for pictures, but nobody wants to be the day noodler. But this is definitely cool. I like the basic kind of M4 with the quad rail and EOTech on there. Again, I just like old simple guns, and combining it with some of the newer kind of high-speed kit, I think this looks pretty cool. Ooh, now this is interesting. Again, just another foreign kit that I really love. I think C8s are super cool. I think that like the green furniture over the black is just what makes this super cool. And he's got the Browning high power on there, which, like, I want one so bad, but nobody makes a good one in Airsoft. And I've heard the Wii ones are especially bad. But this is just super cool, and I love infantry kits as well. I feel like everybody who goes to Milsim games wants to be Special Forces, but no real engagement is just Special Forces versus Special Forces. You need your infantry in there, and this just looks awesome. I know there is a Canadian group of dudes that goes by the name Task Force Goose. They do Milsim West stuff. No idea if he's a part of it. But with the M203 as well, I think this is super cool. The question that I have, I wonder if for this sort of kit, it would make more sense to have the M203 be barrel mounted. I think that would look pretty cool if you had the capability to do that. But overall, man, this is pretty cool. You know, it looks like you're about to run out of ammo because you've got no more mags. But yeah, this is definitely a super cool kit for sure, and I really like this. We have the Real Helljumpers loadout, and I have not heard that name in so long. I miss Halo 3 ODST so much. I feel like this picture needs like the smooth jazz of that game playing in the background as we look at it. You know, I have a soft spot for Tiger Stripe. It's one of those camos that I really love, especially the old school, very wide, with a lot of the black in it that he has on those cries. I don't think those are the limited run cries that Tactical Distributor did with them, so it's probably a knockoff. But honestly, with the LBT 6094, the old school OptCore bump helmet, if he didn't have Tiger Stripe on, this would be every Airsofter from 2015. Like, this was just the look back then. So we're gonna give this a nice 7 out of 10. I just gotta say, because I see the end of your nose is exposed, you are asking to only get shot right here. Ask me how I know. All right, we got the homie Bluebird, who is a channel member with an FBI kit. And, you know, the thing that I really love about this is that Kel-Tec. I haven't seen one out on the field yet, but I think they look super cool. Even as a guy who doesn't like bullpups super much, I think that this is a neat loadout. And again, all that Ranger gear green stuff on there, I really like it. And, oh, I didn't even catch that he's got, like, the flip-down visor on his helmet. That probably will shatter as soon as an airsoft BB hits it, but the drip is immaculate for photos. We're going to give this a 9 out of 10 because he's at a paintball field. And playing airsoft at paintball fields kind of sucks. But overall, cool loadout. Okay, now this is cool. So this is Blitz from Rainbow Six. He says that he's working on a new shield, and I love this. The only thing I hate about it is that I don't play Rainbow Six anymore because I feel like I'm finally at that age where, like, man, I finally get to play video games 1 day a week. I'm gonna go play something to de-stress. And then I play a game like Rainbow Six and I just get even more stressed than when I started.
Know your fucking place, trash.
But you know, this is definitely a cool airsoft kit, cosplay, whatever you wanna call it. I'm really like, I think I've done a video on this at some point. I'm not a huge fan of shields in airsoft because I feel like people use them to kind of cheese the game a little bit. But I'd be more about it with something like this. Like, I like that it's not just a piece of plexiglass with a handle on it, and that it's something a little bit more correct to the game. If it was weighted, that'd be cool. I kind of can't tell what this is made out of, but he can hide behind it entirely. So, you know, as much as I'm not a huge fan of riot shields in airsoft, I think this is definitely super cool, and especially with a new riot shield as well, this will definitely be a pretty cool kit for sure, man. Mint's coming back with another awesome loadout. He submitted one in the last video, and this is a nice medical battalion Russian infantry kit from a conflict that we're not going to talk about. And, you know, I like the AK-12. I think it solves a lot of the problem of the old school AK-74s. As somebody who owns an AK-74, there's a lot of times where I'm like, wow, I spent a ton of money to basically make this into a heavier AK-12. So I really like those. I like that he has no optic, which is true to form as well. And I feel like Russian kit is one of those kits that does having all the same pattern look really good. Like in US infantry kit on the other side of the coin, I love the mix match of multicam and the old school UCP, but this loadout is just honestly fire. There's no cringe patches or anything on here, which you see a lot of times with a lot of Russian kits. So we're gonna give this a solid 9 out of 10, great job. You lose a point for no iPro though. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all of these loadouts from, they are from the BB Warrior Discord server, which is open to anybody, and there's a link to join that down in the description below. Now, I can't hate on this loadout much at all, because we're looking at it and like, yeah, he's got the skull face mask that I feel like every brand new airsofter has as well. But I think that's an RRV, and RRVs are super cool, and they're starting to get cheap again for some reason, like even the Ranger green ones that are super hard to find. This is just a nice, solid, beginner style loadout. I can't tell if he's in like a bedroom or not, like was that stuff off to the side, but we're gonna give this a nice 6 out of 10, I'm gonna say, because my man has no shoes on, but there are shoes in the room. So I get like one of the big rules of Roast My Loadout is that you need to be actually wearing the kit, but I always love where people decide to take them. Like we've seen a lot of bathroom pictures over the last couple of episodes. So seeing people putting their kits together, not on the field, I always get a good laugh out of that. Looks like somebody's cat stepped on the keyboard, has their own loadout. And again, you know, another Russian kit because I am a sucker. So I think you guys have started to figure out what I enjoy. The PKM's just cool. Sorry, like maybe this is the PKM episode. This isn't the old school kit episode, but especially with the dedication to wearing the helmet, which like I would stand here in solidarity and put mine on as well to do this little bit for your kit, but it's 1,000,000 degrees in my apartment right now and I would probably faint. This looks super cool. It's probably Farby, but I just think that it looks super neat. And then I do just also want to talk about the bolt action here. This is just chaos energy. I do hope that you're wearing full seal underneath the helmet because that visor is not eye safe. And I can tell you that from personal experience. Give me 1 second. So, Yeah, as you can see, I would not wear that without some full seal underneath, or else you are going to have a bad time. Maybe if it's a real one, it's a different story, but at least mine did not take the hit very well. I have some questions. So this kind of goes back to the idea of like you can wear whatever you want when you play airsoft. We're all LARPing out in the woods or in a building that could be used for something more productive. But like, why bring this to airsoft? Is this a meme? Like everybody again has their own preference between plate carriers, chest rigs, but my man has a AAP1, not a bad pistol, don't get me wrong, and a shotgun in a scabbard. Why? Like I just want to know the reasoning, the tactics behind this. Like he's got the shotgun shell loader thing on his hip and like maybe that's cool, but like this picture especially gives off the like my daughter will be back by 10 vibes. Like this is how do you carry water to an airsoft game as well? Like, you know, he's got the one tigress mask, so that's cool. I just like why bring these loadouts? Like I guess this video series is really helping me to realize that like people play airsoft differently than me, and that's totally okay. Like we should all be able to play this stupid nerd hobby however we want. But this is I'm left with more questions than answers, honestly. Like please explain yourself in the comments. And this is just another example of somebody LARPing literally in their mom's basement, it looks like. Taking a look at the loadout, it's a little hard to see because it's all black, but I feel like black loadouts are either really, really good or they're just kind of okay, in my opinion. Now, this is a interesting camera angle, I will say the least, and is that it looks like there's some sort of netting over the helmet, which like mosquito netting can be pretty effective when you're out in the field. I like using it at Milsim West, but God, those things can also get a little hot if you don't have a great one. So we're gonna give this, because I can't really make any details, we're gonna give this a good job out of 10. The main suggestion that I would say, get rid of that drop leg holster, because as soon as you put something in there, it's going to flop around everywhere and be a pain. Get something that just sits on the belt, get a mid-ride that kind of sits on your thigh, because that is gonna suck when you start running. And if you're going outside and all this with all that black gear on, it's gonna get warm as well. We've got Ace Danny with his loadout that I don't really know if it counts as militia. It's a little hard to tell from the photo. So we got the Chi-Com, we got the steel pot helmet, we got the underfolder. That all screams Russian. I can't tell what the camo is from the picture. Like it looks like SKWO. I don't know if it's just some other Eastern European, Chinese, whatever pattern out there. But, you know, this is as basic and as lightweight as it gets, so I'm sure that you're able to run around really fast. If you're watching this video, make sure to let me know what camo that is. I just can't tell. And then the other thing, the planes are cool, but, like, my dude, you gotta clean your room. Like, is that a cup on the floor? Like, my dude, instead of spending time on airsoft, maybe spend some time on cleaning your house. Over the last couple of times that I've done these videos, I've expressed that I really like foreign kits, especially ones where I don't know anything that's actually in there. And Bravo 1 Charlie is definitely not disappointing with this Norwegian kit. And what I like about this is that he's actually using it at a Milsim West game. Like I feel like one of the big things that Milsim West needs, especially on NATO, is more foreign impressions. So I love the dudes who do like German kit, for instance. Seeing this as well, it's a Radon Rostov event, so it was a West Coast game. But this kit is just sick. First off, I love N camo, love 416, so seeing them together, this is just an absolutely dope kit. And he's also got the desert version as well, which I think is super cool. I think it's almost more cool than the actual woodland version. But this is a absolutely dope kit for sure. I've looked into doing Norwegian kit before. It's just so far out of my budget, which makes me appreciate other people that can do it well like yourself. And you've actually got even more in this, which I think is awesome, with a French kit as well. And that uses either the FAMAS, which is super cool in and of itself, because how often do you see a FAMAS on the airsoft field? Or he's got the kit that uses the 416 as well. And what I thought was really interesting about the Post, which again, just that, a bunch of foreign kit that I've never seen before, the FAMAS is cool. He says that it's an Arcturus, which I did not know they made a 416. So that is interesting. It's more of a reservist or cadet kit. But honestly, this is super cool and definitely something neat that you do not see a lot of on the airsoft field, especially from American players. Spartacus has a loadout that I gotta say, this looks real. Like, I get that the iPro isn't on, these are very clearly photos, but like, my dude doesn't look like an airsofter, and that's the best compliment that I could ever give. We've got the old school AK, we've got the goggles that I can't think of the name of right now, you know, the Gorka suit, is it a 6SH112, I think? Whatever, like the generic load-bearing system. This all looks super legit. This looks like a militia fighter. This doesn't look like an airsofter, and this is just a phenomenal kit. So I gotta say, you have outdone yourself. If there's one person that you can count on to always have a great Roast My Kit submission, it's Brodus, and yet again, does not fail to deliver. So we've got what I think is an FN mag. I think that's the 240. With, you know, this just screams militia without necessarily being like militia kit. Like, I know some people say like, oh, like I can't find Russian stuff. You know, there's certain global conflicts going on that make that difficult. I think you can look like you're supposed to be on Rust 4 and fit the spirit of the game without buying stuff that is necessarily from that part of the world. And I think this is a great example of like the harness. You know, I see a big US on the radio pouch there, so I'm assuming it's all Alice gear. But you can get stuff that looks 80 to 90% of the way there, and then still kind of fit in for these games. But I definitely love that he's got it with the machine gun, and then also he's got his standard rifle, which he does like standard Rust 4 kits as well, that we've seen in other Roast My kits, so I love that AK, especially with the STK stock. It's just a very nice setup overall, and it looks like militia without necessarily being militia stuff. I'm not sure who makes that kind of rain jacket thing that he's got going on, but like, if I saw him at Milsim West, I would be like, yeah, that's, you know, that's a militia member. That looks like a SSO back, like I can't think of the word, not ruck, but backpack sort of thing. I can't think of it right now. Sorry, guys. You know, this just looks very solid. This fits the bill for being militia, and if I saw him on the field, he would not look out of place at all in a Milsim West. So this is very well done. Loadout coming in from Muddy Reviews, which has a cool channel himself, and this is a Spanish SEALs kit. And you know, like, I've said it once before and I'll say it again, I feel like the way to win Roast My Kit is with foreign impressions. That is one of my jams because I can't afford it, but I always appreciate people who do it themselves. And this is super cool. I'm probably going to get stuff wrong here, but we got the Spanish kind of like desert multicam, which I've always thought is super cool, but I have no idea how to get my hands on. Got the G36 as well. And this is just, they're neat kits. It's stuff that, like, again, I have no idea what any of this is. I'm really bad at identifying a lot of foreign kit, but it just looks solid altogether. Taking a look at it, I can't really tell what any of this is. It might be a 6094, but it's definitely a cool, unique vibe. And I feel like if we're going to continue to play a lot of airsoft games where it's like green versus tan, bringing in some of these new patterns that are very clearly tan or green helps to just spice things up and make the game cooler. Because, like, otherwise this is going to be everybody in multicam and everybody in M81, and that gets kind of boring after a while. So this is definitely a cool kit. I'm going to give this a nice 9 out of 10. And now we have a channel member. This is Boombase, who's submitting his loadout. And what I love about this is this gives off the old school airsoft vibe. So like before everybody got super serious and everybody was wearing multicam and JPCs and Mark 18s, this is just what airsofters looked like back in the day. And like, you know, the old school Woodland, like IBA, whatever it may be, a shotgun and a bullpup sniper rifle, like these were the days before everybody had M-Lock Mark 18s or whatever it may be out there. And I just love this energy. It brings me back to kind of a simpler time in airsoft, and my dude looks like he is having a blast out there on the airsoft field. Rusty has his Marine Force recon impression, which makes me feel some things. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. It mainly makes me feel old, because he says, you don't see too many of these anymore, but when I first started seriously getting into airsoft and getting into buying kit, not just running around in a hoodie in my backyard, this was the fit back then. Like, before the JPC came out, before multicam cries were available, stuff like this was popular. You were seeing people with like MBAVs and MBSSs and RRVs running around, you know, the low cut helmets as well, classic M4. This just makes me sad because the drip is immaculate, especially with that M45, which a lot of you are still mad at me for torturing mine in the mud test. It's a cool pistol, still works. But, you know, this is just a bygone era of way bulkier, but also very cool and unique gear that definitely had an aesthetic to it that was unique. It wasn't just everybody was in multicam. People could have impressions and still look different. And this was also back at a time where getting like Marpat Frog uniforms weren't ungodly expensive for what they were. So I absolutely love this. This made me nostalgic, but this also made me kind of sad. So this is another one that I can't tell if you guys are messing with me or not, but I have to include it in today's video. All I'm seeing is plate carriers and M4s everywhere. Let's switch it up. He's got an 870 bird grip sawed off and an M93R with a 3-round burst. And like my question is, if this is not a joke, what games do you bring this to? Like I'm just curious at this point, because like, yeah, shotgun and an automatic pistol, you can play indoor with that. But like the loadout itself, where do you bring that? Like running in that stuff has to be uncomfortable. And like I can't hate the drip at all, but like where do you bring this? Like I have more questions than answers. If this is you, if you are watching this video, first off, thank you for submitting your kit. Second, explain yourself. I need to know why you bring this to the airsoft field. What was the inspiration behind it? Like, was it a specific game? Was it like a cops and crooks sort of thing? But like, I think the M93R is super cool because only a couple of brands made them. But like, dude, you have to answer for your loadout. I'm just so curious now. Please reach out in the comments. I have to know what the inspiration was. So we've got a submission from the 45th VTV enjoyer. And, you know, this is an interesting one because it is a AK with a lot of US kit, which I definitely think can look cool. Love Tiger Stripe, that's awesome. Love the naked Mitch 2000 without a helmet cover on there. And you know, I just think that this looks pretty solid. The one thing I will say though, looking at this, those mags are holding onto those pouches for dear life. Maybe consider some close tops or HSGI tacos or something, but God, that Bungie is doing a lot of work on there. But yeah, this is just a neat kit, good for open plays. But you know, I would definitely, again, I would switch out those mag pouches because they look like they're about to burst at the seams. So historical kits can be kind of hit or miss for me, but Smallfellow's got one that I think is actually really cool because it's World War I. I feel like a lot of times people do World War II kits and they get problematic. I like how he's got the like old-timey photograph filter on there. And then to actually see it in the light, you know, it's so weird seeing like a bolt gun that isn't a VSR-10 in airsoft or like some hyper modern sniper rifle. Seeing something old school like a Lee Enfield is a nice change of pace. You know, I wonder, you know, I've never actually like seen one in real life. How do the magazines work in those? Because the Lee Enfield was stripper clip, right? So like I wonder, I would really just be interested to see like how functional is this loadout, especially without any sort of optic on there. Like that's gotta be, it's gonna be a challenge. Like it's probably just for like a historical event or something like that. But he says that it's for World War I. And you know, like there are occasionally World War II events. Milson West did like 1 or 2 of them back in the day here in the US. But where do you bring this? Like, are you just like the sole dude who looks like he's from 1917? And then you've got everybody else who looks like a Call of Duty or Fortnite skin at the local airsoft field. So for small fella, cool loadout, but I do have some questions on how you actually use this. You should definitely let me know in the server or in the comments down below. Oh, and now we've got somebody on the opposite side of the war with like a sort of juggernaut kit from World War I. I don't know what this stuff was actually called, but I remember it being like the coolest pickup that you could get in Battlefield 1. So this is definitely neat. I do find it really funny that there's like this cool old school kit and then there's like a car and a couple of refs behind it. Sorry, I can't help but notice that. But overall, this is definitely pretty neat. Is the gun an actual MP18? I mean, it says that it's a little bit of farb, which, like, you know, it's over 100 years old. I think we can excuse a little bit of incorrectness in the loadout. I'm just curious, like, where did you find the gun? I didn't know that they made anything like that for airsoft. But overall, this is super cool. Again, I just want to know, like, where would this stuff get used? Now, this submission from Trevor makes me feel ways. Like, first off, the old school MBAV kits, absolutely hot. Don't get me wrong. Machine gun kit as well. Very, very cool. What I don't like is if he had like a Mark 18 or a Mark 12, beautiful kit. My man's got it set up for a rifle, but he's got a machine gun. And nothing aggravates me more than people who put together light machine gun kits that don't have a way to carry the spare box. Because like otherwise, this is a super hot kit. I love the M81, love the PCU top on there, but like my man, what happens if your box breaks? Like, are you only going to go to rifle mags? Is that your plan? Like, just so, like if you're planning to run an airsoft light machine gun, expect to buy another drum because they're going to break. Like, it's just the weakest part of the system. So I'm going to give this kit a 8 out of 10. I mean, it's super hot. I wish I owned all of that. But my man, where are you going to carry that other drum? Okay, so we've got Callsign Wizard, who was in the last one, and this is significantly different than the last one that he submitted. So, like, first off, AK, big energy right there. That looks like, is that the unobtainium gear dank robber? I can't tell, but like, this gives off some chaotic, like, Milsim West Insurgency energy right here. And as well, you know, I gotta say, people are stepping it up when they're submitting their bathroom pictures. They're actually cleaning the bathroom, which means they either live with a woman or they live with their mom. But, you know, I gotta give this a, let's give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you for submitting to another video with a much different kit than last time. I feel like it's required that we have at least one throwback kit, and this one comes from Cherry Cop, who's been super helpful on the server. My first airsoft game with my own gear, 2013. A D-Boy Kaz V. Those don't exist anymore. Like, those should be in museums. The Woodland Cross Draw, classic. Motorcycle boots that were too big, rollerblader knee pads and elbow pads. That's hilarious. And what else has he got in here? Water bottle with a homemade duct tape strap to attach it to my belt. This is chaotic beginner airsoft before, like, widely available Chinese gear was available. This is a vibe, honestly. I wish airsoft was still this simple to this day. AK-47 Boy 1911, which, that's a username. That's a username, all right. Where do we begin with this? So he's got a Lancer Tactical Gen 2. I know a lot of people are going to hate it just because of that, because Lancers get a pretty bad rep, but I actually kind of liked that airsoft gun back when I had it for review. You know, the thing that gets me is he's got the JPC, and it looks like it's about the right size for him. But my dude, get some frag pouches, and those don't even look like airsoft grenades. But yeah, this looks like a nice beginner sort of airsoft kit. My personal advice would be, you've got, I'm going to say that's a balaclava. I don't know if it really is. The photo's a little blurry on my end. Definitely replace that with a face mask or just nothing at all. Those aren't going to protect your teeth, and all it's going to do is push the fog from your breath up and into your goggles. But if you're starting out in airsoft, I honestly think that you could be doing a lot worse. Alter's submitting his loadouts, and the thing that I like about this is that that LSW on there, you know, just another gun that you do not see very often, especially, you know, with a JPC that's interesting. But this is just such a cool rifle. The ACOG is not what I would have expected on there, to be completely honest, but you know, I've got love for support weapons because I've been loving my Stoner 63 lately. I think this is super cool. My main suggestion, man, is this is a light sort of support weapon. Commit to using regular Stand-Ag mags with it. I don't think these were ever used with drums, and I'm also sure it'd be a lot more comfortable holding it with those style of mags. But this is definitely a cool rifle. I think the kit, maybe a little bit of improvement. So a surprisingly fluffy Jackalope is submitting his heavy gunner kit, and this definitely gives me that vibe of like the video game support weapon class for sure on the Russian side. Taking a look at what he has, says that he has a Gorka and a Defender too, which are two of the most ungodly uncomfortable things that you could possibly be wearing. Like, if it's not winter, this dude's going to be a heat casualty for sure. He's got the old school Russian helmet with the visor and a classic PKP light machine gun. Honestly, you know, this is cool. I don't know if it's necessarily like correct for a kit or anything with the smirch above it, but it just has that classic like Russian flavoring for a kit, and I think that these kits are simple but also pretty cool at the same time. The thing that I'm wondering is he's got a holster, but I can't quite tell what's in there, if it's a Russian pistol or anything like that. But overall, pretty neat, if not a little bit simple, but definitely a cool kit for sure. We need more people doing like Russian specialty weapon classes outside of Milsim West. OPT4 Airsoft, who I think has been featured before, has a really cool loadout for us, as the name implies, for OPT4. I believe this is Chinese PLA kit, and I have no idea what any of this is, full disclosure. It just looks super neat. I think that what we need a lot more of in airsoft is kind of unique kits, like, you know, Russian kit is the big fad right now, but seeing other foreign impressions, I get why they're not as popular. It's hard to get the equipment, but this just looks super cool. I don't even know what gun that is, but it's neat, you know. Like, this is super cool, definitely well done. Again, I have no way of telling if this is FARB or not, but it looks super cool. I just wish that some of these more unique kits were tan. I feel like there's way more green kits than tan kits right now, which makes balancing and national level events kind of interesting to do, but this is absolutely sick. Famine has their Mandalorian kit, which is made up of a lot of 3D printed armor, and I think that this is just super cool. Star Wars isn't necessarily my thing, but I know that there's a lot of people that do Star Wars games. I know there's that big company that runs them out in the Midwest. This is just super neat, and I think this is like, I think what the Roast My Kit series has taught me is that, like, I have my personal taste. Like, there's things that I like, but it's made me appreciate what other people like more. Like, I never would have been like, oh, a Star Wars kit, but this is rad. Like, the fact that you've got this working for airsoft and like that none of this is gonna fall apart when you get shot, this is absolutely sick. Thank you all so much for checking out the best of Roast My Kit. Again, none of this would be possible without the incredible viewers that have submitted their loadouts for me to take a look at. There are so many of them that honestly I can't even get through them all, and I am working through all the submissions that we get to continue making new episodes for everybody. I also just wanted to give a especially big shout out to our channel members, because without them, the BB Warrior as a whole simply would not be possible. Their support each month allows me to continue making videos like Roast My Kit, to be going out to events and, you know, talking to airsofters, meeting you guys, the viewers, and ultimately keeping me engaged in this hobby for so long. If you want to become a channel member, there's some really cool perks with it. Like, not only do you get a guaranteed spot in future Roast My Kit videos, you also get to watch them and other videos early, you get exclusive access on our Discord server, and even more perks. So if you want to learn about that, there's information down in the description below of this video, of all videos here on the Baby Warrior actually. But again, thank you all so much for watching. More Roast My Kit is coming soon, and I will see you all next time.